So medieval knights didn't just wear armor, man. They locked their wives and even some young boys into these types of devices. And the hygiene problems that came with them were just disgusting. So we all know the story, man. Knights go off into battle and they lock their wives in these chastity belts to make sure that they stayed faithful while they were gone. And there's been a lot of speculation saying how often this happened, or even if the belts were actually real, but like history has confirmed that chastity belts were actual things. And they were usually made out of leather and metal, and they only had like really small openings for the woman or the person that's wearing them to, relieve themselves and like bodily functions. And some of the openings on these devices were like maybe the width of your finger. So they would have one in the front and they would have one, like at the bottom, so that the women could relieve themselves when they had it on. But mind you, most of the time, the knight or the husband was the only one that had the key to unlock the chastity belt. So most often, the women probably couldn't clean themselves properly because they couldn't take this big metal leather belt off. So I can only imagine how crazy that got with having to use the bathroom, having a menstrual cycle. I can't. But the part that a lot of people don't know is chastity belts and those chastity devices, they were not just for women. So in the 1800s, there was a huge anti-masturbation thing that was going on. So they made devices that were similar to chastity belts for young boys to keep them from masturbating. And this is actually a more accurate depiction because back then, parents believed that masturbation could cause anything from blindness all the way up to insanity. So they were making the young boys wear these out of protection. So for both men and women, hygiene, forget about it. Because for the ladies, the belts trap sweat, urine, menstrual blood, all of that stuff. So infections, sores, all that stuff was probably rampant. And then for the guys, I can almost guarantee that thing was chafing. Could have caused open wounds. So cleaning that area, it wasn't going to happen. So just be thankful you weren't a knight's wife or a Victorian era boy. You wouldn't have to worry about any of those. But let me know what y'all want to see on hygiene history next.